Perfect. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Workforce Wednesdays. My name is Yvonne Beals, and I am the Chief Education Officer for the Center for Urban Excellence. Welcome all of you for joining us this evening. Um, this tonight we have Vanessa Beals, who will be presenting to us. Hold on, have feedback. Is everyone muted? Okay, perfect. Vanessa Beals is a Bay Area native with a passion for digital marketing. She embarked on her journey into the entertainment world in 2014, starting her career as an intern at iHeartRadio in San Francisco. She then collaborated with mega influencers and celebrities and earned her title as the top TikTok agent and manager of 2020 by Business Insider. Beyond the glitz and glamour, Vanessa dedication shines brightest in her commitment to creating opportunities for underrepresented talent on social media. Vanessa waved goodbye to the corporate entertainment space to become an independent talent manager and consultant in 2022. With her tireless work ethic and compassionate approach, Vanessa continues to pave the way for a more inclusive and diverse industry landscape within the social media market. And without further introduction, I'd like to introduce to you all Vanessa Beals.
Hello, everybody. I'm super excited to be here this evening. I want to first say thank you to the Q family and staff for inviting me. I hope to keep this live, so please, if you guys are listening and if you have access to the chat, we're getting ready to dive into the social media and digital marketing space. And so in the chat, I would love to see throughout this presentation your favorite YouTubers, favorite TikTokers, who you're watching right now on Instagram Reels, all that. So make sure throughout this whole presentation, you drop your favorite influencers handle in the chat, and that, throughout the presentation, we can look at them and see if they're good candidates for any opportunities that you guys may think or get inspired by this session tonight. Tonight, again, I want to dive into social media. So I am a talent manager. Essentially, I lead the talent here at Digi. And so we are a Black-owned talent firm where we're trying to take a fresh approach to management and counseling for those rising stars. We truly believe in providing eye-opening experiences and changing our clients' lives. And so hopefully today, you guys get some inspiration to join this industry. Next slide. So what we do best, we essentially do these three services and more. So first, management. So in our world, management, you can compare to, say, a sports agent, or if you've ever heard of an acting agent. Well, we essentially do similar things, but in management, we're basically representing and guiding talent through their career development. We take over negotiations and just overall business and the talent's professional growth. We also do consulting. So there are celebrity talent that we service, and other mega influencers that we service who already have agents, who already have managers. They just essentially need us to step in and consult and come and bring a new perspective from the digital marketing end, and also our network and other resources in our network. And then we also do special projects. So like I said, there's a lot of celebrity guests or celebrity clients and influencers who already have a full team. They just need some assistance on the branding side. And so that's something here. We worked with a lot of brands in the past, especially who are targeting diversity and underrepresented talent. One brand that we work hand in hand with is like the LOL Surprise Dolls, Mattel, iHeartRadio, because I have a previous relationship there. But again, we also take on special projects where we don't necessarily manage the talent. Next slide. So here's a breakdown. I'm sure everybody is wondering about how we get paid, how much we get paid, and what our day-to-day responsibilities are. And so again, if anything here sparks your interest, please drop those handles to your favorite social media influencers, favorite YouTubers. Maybe there's some similarities or something that you've seen. So I would love to hear from you guys. Drop that in the chat. So here's the general overview, right? So let's start with the education requirements. So technically, to become a manager, especially working for the corporate space, so if you go to a talent agency that you hear about or you really, really like, most often they do require some sort of bachelor's degree, whether that's in marketing, communications, public relations, business, or anything related. In my experience, my bachelor's degree is actually in health science, and my master's is in business administration with an emphasis in healthcare. So, as you guys can see, it has nothing to do with the field. Um, but there are some things, especially from my bachelor's program, that I am using in my day to day, and that's analysis and case studies and data assessment, especially accounting, right? So there are some things that you can use. So, say if you're not even thinking about this field and you thought about another degree, go ahead and pursue it because there's always some takeaways from different school programs that you can apply to this job. So training requirements, essentially you want to have some experience in marketing. Again, this field doesn't require a specific field to get the training in. So like me, I had a lot of training in the healthcare field. And so because there was some overlap as far as the training materials and things that I learned in healthcare, I'm able to apply here. So in this field, if you get training in marketing, brand advertising, media sales, or any online advertising experience, that could be in any field, right? Because essentially there are tools that you could use here. Um, 80% of this job is really about your uh, in-field experience and your network connections. So when people say, it's about who you know in Hollywood and it's about, being in the right place at the right time, that's essentially true in this industry as well. You know, the more connections and networking you do in this industry, the more I guess in-person experience you get with the influencers, the more likely they'll do business with you. So let's dive into what some of the day-to-day responsibilities are as a talent manager. So first, as a talent manager, you are their representation. You respond to inbound inquiries and you lead all of their communications on behalf of either one talent or your whole roster. So essentially, what this means is when you tell a talent, hey, I would love to manage you and support you. And once you sign the paperwork and you guys have agreed to a partnership, anything that comes through their inbox, any type of inquiry for business, whether that's on social media or in entertainment, you would lead all of that communication. Your talent relies on you, to respond professionally, to know the ins and outs of the inquiry, to understand what people are asking for of the talent. The second thing to your day to day is negotiation. So essentially, this is probably about 50% of the business, just negotiating contracts all week, negotiating deals and agreements on behalf of your talent to ensure favorable terms and conditions. And so, again, we're not technically lawyers. I do have a lawyer that I consult with and look over all my agreements. However, as a talents manager, it's my responsibility to know what are the favorable terms and conditions. So if I know the talent's goals is to do a specific thing and to reach certain heights, The lawyer's not going to know that. The brand's not going to know that. And so I need to make sure that contracts reflect what we're doing, what we have going on. So this part is very important. And again, I didn't go to school for law. I rely heavily on my lawyer. However, this is kind of where if you do get a bachelor's degree or some sort of degree, whether that's at a junior college or whichever, this comes in handy. So the third thing is talent development. So essentially, as a manager, you're assisting the talent in developing and executing their long-term and short-term goals. So this essentially just means, again, as the talent's team, day-to-day team, you understand what they want. You understand what they want to achieve, and you assist them in figuring out how to get there. You also need to stay on top of the trends and the platform updates. I don't know if you guys have seen or read in the news, but Congress just passed a bill that technically could ban TikTok from the US from all apps. And so that's going to take a big toll on our industry because, there's a lot of talent and influencers and celebrities who make a lot of business through TikTok. And so these things as managers have to stay on top of to figure out the plan B or to figure out what the plan C or D is if this were to be implemented. So we have a little bit of time, but things like that, updates, on IG, there's always updates and there's always updates to TikTok, or excuse me, YouTube. So those things are very important in talent development. The last thing is support and advocacy. With talent, because you're talking to them day to day, you grow this relationship where you become family, where you become mentors, sometimes therapists, just a friend to talent. And so you want to make sure that at all times you're giving your clients, A1 customer service, whether that's through operations or whether that's through, again, just being there for your talent. You also want to advocate for them. And so in my line of work, I chose to prioritize talent of color. And so I do a lot of advocacy work around talent of color who are unrepresented, who don't necessarily get branded opportunities, and those who, just don't have the opportunities like some of their white Caucasian peers may have. And so my job is to essentially build out opportunities for talent of color. And so I'm a big advocate for that. And so, thinking about the day-to-day responsibilities, you'd probably think like, wow, that's could be a lot, right? Especially when you think about managers who manage not just one influencer, but maybe five, maybe 12, maybe 20. And so if you have 20 talent, and you're doing, these four things, that could be a lot in one day. And so you may be thinking, how much do these people get paid? And so, in doing research in California, it's a wide range of salary, but essentially most corporate companies pay about 65 to 120,000 a year for salary, and that's not necessarily fully including commission. Commission varies because every agency does their commission structure differently. But as an independent manager, think about this salary, plus you get to take home all of your commission. And so again, I just want you guys to kind of think about, the opportunities within this field. And so again, if anything kind of strikes some inspiration for you, or if you guys, are seeing anything here and you're thinking about different YouTubers or TikToks, please drop their ads in the chat because I want to see who you guys are watching and who you guys are thinking could be managed. Next slide.
There's one in the chat before we go on. It's notes from Kayla on TikTok.
Okay, maybe we could pull her up at the end and see what kind of content she makes and if she's a best fit. Oh yeah, Kai Sinat. That's a good one too. We actually work with his management team. Yeah, these are good. We could definitely take a look. If you go to the next slide,
Okay, will do.
this next slide actually will walk you guys through seeing if there's talent that are best fit for you. And so I created a checklist here, and you
Mine.
guys can. Oh, go
I go on Wednesday.
question.
Go ahead.
So this checklist here, I kind of built this out as just a general checklist of essentials to think about when you guys say if you are interested down the road and into this field and you want to pursue supporting talent. Well, here's some things to kind of think about before you reach out to them. So the first thing is, um, as a talent manager, you want to identify the type of talent or the content genre you're interested in. So if you are a talent manager and say you love watching cooking content, well, that's a given right there that you would be great fit for a cooking influencer, maybe a chef or maybe a mom creator who creates DIY lunchable snacks or something for kids, or maybe someone who does the extreme where they eat the hottest chips, or they go overseas and eat crazy foods. If you like those types of videos, then maybe you might be a best fit for that type of content genre. So the next thing you want to think about when looking for the right talent for you is you want to research the marketplace you're most interested in. So again, if I'm very interested in cooking content, I want to go research a little bit the marketplace of who's doing what, who's the top creators in that genre, or what's the rising trends in that genre. The reason why it's important to research that marketplace is because you don't want to be so interested in a talent that they may be outdated, or they may be doing things that are behind the trend and not necessarily pushing the trend forward. So you want to make sure you understand the marketplace before you even reach out to talent.
Quick
The other,
question, quick question, Vanessa. So, in the chat, it says, does talent managers find talent and or vice versa? Do they
yeah,
look at?
that's a great question. So it's a little bit of both, right? So, like I said before, 80% of this job is about in field or on the field experience. So anytime you're outside and you're surrounded by creators, other creators see that you're getting so much love, or that you're always at parties or exclusive invitations, usually talent will step up to you, or they'll email you or text you or call you or find your contact somehow and reach out to you and say, hey, so and so told me that you're a great manager and I want to work with you, right? So that could be a way where a talent reaches out to you. Um, Essentially, for a lot of independent managers, that's what happens. A lot of my business is based off of referrals. Again, if you're continuing to do great work, you're continuing to find money for talent, they usually refer. However, the majority of the business does come from you reaching out to talent. And so again, say if you, again, we live in the Bay Area, we're not necessarily in Los Angeles, so we can't go to all the events. We can't go to red carpets all the time, so sometimes, you're not going to get that opportunity to be in the field. So essentially you have to reach out to talent. And so that's why I'm sharing this checklist with you guys, because if you are ever interested in this industry, these are some essential things you want to do to show that you are a great fit for the talent. So I hope that answered your question. I'm not sure who asked it. I think Elijah.
Elijah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the next thing to this recruitment checklist is you want to build your own list of talent interests, right? So before, say you found the genre you like, you found the talent you like, you learned about the marketplace. Now, before you reach out, you want to have a full list of people, right? Because essentially, you have to understand if that talent is doing so great, or say they're a rising star, there's most likely two or three, and if depending on the status, there's probably two or three, or it could be 20 people reaching out wanting the same thing that you want. And so you want to make sure that you don't just go after one, but you choose 10, you choose 15, you choose 20 people, 20 influencers to go after. So you have a wide list of interests of talent, and that you just keep reaching out to people. The next thing you want to do is you want to assess from the public view. So meaning go to your favorite influencers page or your pursuits social media channels and see if there's any money value there. And so what that kind of means is, you want to make sure not only is the talent creating quality content or content that's engaging, but there's also opportunity for you to make money or for money to be made, right? So that could be monetization on other social media platforms. That could be branded endorsements or sponsorships. Maybe you see something that they should be doing and they're missing money out of. So things like that. So you want to make sure that you assess the talent's pages. You also want to make sure that the talent isn't already represented. And so if they are represented, then you kind of know your approach to reaching out, or you kind of know like, okay, well, maybe I will just leave that on ice and I'll go to see if another talent's available. The last thing or not the last, but the second to last thing you want to do is when you're recruiting, you want to make sure you reach out to talent and propose an incentive, right? So you found the talent, you research the marketplace, you have this full list of folks you're going to reach out to, you see money value. Now you need to kind of, pitch yourself and show the talent that one, you're a true fan, and two, that you see some value in you joining their team. And so when I put this here, that doesn't mean give them the full plan or your full ideas. You just kind of need to sprinkle in your outreach email or your pitch to them, what you could do for them. It's a little bit more than, well, I'll ride or die for you and I'll make sure that everything you need gets done. It's a little bit more than that, right? It's a little bit more than, oh, you should write a book, or oh, you should sell a a cooking kit, or you should sell merch. It's a little bit more than that as well. Because again, you have to understand you're competing with other agencies and managers who are probably saying the same thing. And so you want to make sure your proposed incentive just has a little spice to it, or a little innovation, creative approach when you're emailing them. Then the last thing is you want to follow up. Follow up, follow up, follow up. I think a lot of talent managers miss out on opportunities because they'll reach out to talent and then probably forget that they even reached out to them. And, then another manager agency swoops in and signs them. And so you want to make sure that you always follow up. So again, in the chat, please drop your favorite YouTubers, your favorite Instagram stars. We could definitely take a look at them, or, assess. You guys can tell me what you guys like about them, and what business or potential money value they have.
Go ahead and put those in the chat, folks. There's one, Monet McMichael. And then there was Only for Apollo on IG, and Kai Kanat. I'm not sure how to say that right. And then there's a new one, Toyota Corp. There's a question. Do you have a
Yeah.
personal talent preference? Do you prefer to work with musicians or artists?
Yeah, I get that a lot, especially about the music artists. It's a very how do I say, a lot of this industry, especially digital marketing, social media, it blends together with music artists, right? Because sometimes record labels, which I have a lot of great relationships with too, they pay influencers to promote music, and then some music artists want to be in influencers YouTube videos for exposure. So it kind of like the two worlds blend a lot. And so, as far as personal preference, right now I am prioritizing talent of color. I'm not necessarily, stuck in one content genre. I kind of support all folks, lifestyle, um, family, vloggers. I'm kind of sprinkled all over in as far as content genre. But yeah, I mean, I had one music artist a couple of months ago, but I usually pass them along um to the record label out here in San Francisco, um because they also have like a social media department. But sometimes I do, but most of the time music artists I consult. I don't necessarily manage. Hopefully
In the
that answers.
chat, there's a couple. There's Type Beat,
Yeah. I'm
at Romonti,
I'm gonna
and
note
for the love of KJ.
1 second. I'm gonna type these down real quick.
I would imagine, I mean, I don't know much about it, but I know the music industry, they may have their whole, like, and even similar to Toyota, they have a whole department dedicated to artist development, A&R, and all of that. So, I love manual transmission, says Joshua.
Yeah, I took a note to most of these names. I don't know if we have time, but we could take a look at one if there's one that sticks out to everyone and see the potential there. If you guys want, or if you guys have more questions, I'm here for questions too.
Okay. Ben Slacken is another one in the chat. Okay. So Okay, so at this time, we'd like to ask if anyone has any specific questions or general questions while she looks up some of the artists. It is 6:01, so we have a few more minutes if there's some folks who want to chime in and ask some questions. Yes, talk about Ben Slacken or For the Love of KJ.
So Ben Slacken, is that on IG? Which handle? Ben Slacken.
On
Oh, I see.
Instagram.
Yeah, I found it.
Do you want to share your screen?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
Um,
I will let you be co-host.
or I could send you. Want me to send you the link?
No,
Yeah.
I'll just make you co-host. There you go.
And then Joshua, you put Toyota Motor Corp. Is that you talking about the actual company
Yeah, I'm a huge fanatic.
for cars?
No, just them in general. Their engineers and designers are top of their class. The co-founder of Toyota Motor Corp actually passed away this year, or last year actually, since we're starting 2024. So I just wanted to like support him because I'm a fanatic, but I found out really late that he had died. He was like maybe. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's like the Dragon Ball Z founder creator just recently died too. So a lot of these folks who are icons, like you said, and people who influence so much are passing away. But that too, I mean, that I'm sure is a trend on social media at this moment, where people who love Toyota and the franchise um are um are paying homage by making content about them.
Yeah, if I may, one more thing. Since the co-founder passed away, there's a new team of designers and engineers now, younger people. People that I'm pretty sure he got to meet them too. People that they chose to like and innovate and to.
Thank you, Joshua.
Thank you. Okay, let me pull up. I think I found Ben Slacken. Is this the right one? I forgot. I think it was Elijah or Anthony. The chat disappeared. But I think I pulled it up. So this has been
Yes, it's the right
Slacken.
one.
Okay, cool. So this has been Slacken. Uh, so in this industry, right? And I see Don't Call Me White Girl follows her. I love her and I love the podcast. So in this industry, right, when it comes to anything that's more on the adult side, so like alcohol, drugs and things like that, those things are a little more I want to say mainstream brands don't necessarily partake in. However, there are a lot of Gen Z kids who do show a lot of this anyway, say on Snapchat. So it's not that it's not possible that a mainstream brand wouldn't collab with someone like Ben Slacken, but most often they don't necessarily do it. But someone like him could probably do really, really good. Uh, there's a lot of content right now that's very popular that's like more on the streets, right? So a lot of influencers are taking their podcasts on the streets, they're taking their YouTube, they're vlogging on the streets and really talking to day-to-day people. And so he reminds me of someone that fits in that content genre. And so a lot of folks like Burger King, um who else, sometimes Pumbaa, sometimes those type of brands collab with folks like this who do stuff that's more again on the streets. And so this is really cool about this person. So say you are a manager and you come across this page, right? So the first thing I would do is go to the IG Reels page, and I want to see how the viewership is going. And so you see right now the viewership is really it's not necessarily unbalanced. It's a little bit unbalanced and it's not as consistent, right? And so that to me would kind of be one of the I don't want to say red flags, but that to me would kind of show that this influencer might be more creative and less thinking about the influencer side as a business, right? Because someone who's like, oh, I want to be an influencer and I want to make this into some type of money value, they'd be making videos nonstop, right? And so this right here tells me, okay, so maybe he's more of a creative, especially with a shot like this. And so maybe there's more collaboration opportunities versus being an influencer, right? Being in the digital marketing influencer world. So maybe he thinks about styling. Maybe you can persuade him to consult influencers on how to style their clothes, how to get ready for exclusive events, or how to, get a photo shoot or a video shoot set up. He seems like, might be a creative in that way. Might be funny, right? And so there might be some comedic podcast that you could pair this person up with. But definitely has a style, and you could tell he's definitely creative. And so maybe there's some opportunity there. But
In the
and then
chat, it says he just styled or dressed Wiz Khalifa.
nice. So see how you could kind of get a picture without necessarily having to click on content or know anything about this person. And so if you know those things about this specific creator, you reach out to them and you say, hey, I want to propose, this general idea you're kind of you're missing this opportunity in this side of the market. So you should think about, this general concept. And if you like what you hear, please reach out to me. Let's hop on a call and I would love to support you. So that's kind of how the email would go. And at that point, like we were discussing earlier, you would help him get more content out, find reach more people, show his skill sets a little bit more through social media.
It was
Uh,
noted in there. It says on his on his thing, I'm not a stylist, but you know, that's
yeah,
might be his lane that he's not aware of.
yeah. Or, maybe you could persuade him to turn I'm not a stylist into a business. Right. And so there's a concept, a very catchy concept there. And obviously people gravitated towards it because he knows all the name brands, he knows how to get them, and he somehow has access to the celebrities. So there's a potential business there. But this is a really good one. If there, I don't know how much time we have, but if there's any others, I'm happy to look at them and guide you guys through how to reach out to them.
Okay. Um, Raina, do we have time for one more or is that it?
We could do one more. I think I seen two people say what, Raymonte?
And Monet McMichael, let's do another a female. Monet, Monet, Mick, MC Michael, Michael. Gotta do Dre, only for Apollo.
Yeah, so I haven't had the chance to work with Monet, but I do know her team. So she recently was at this black agency based in, I think they're in Canada. I want to say Ontario. But she was at this black agency doing some great work, some great business, and I see she's friends with Christy Sarah, definitely familiar with her team. So yeah, so this is a very great one. And as you can see, she's with Range. And I think they're a rising, they just kind of started, I want to say last year or something like that, I read. But this is a great one. So, if this is a content genre that you're interested in, Monet is really great, right? But there are probably 200 plus other women who fit within the same genre that you potentially can build their business like how Monet did. And so make sure you guys look within the genre. There's another Monet on the rise right now. Probably about 10 or 15 of them on the rise. And so those folks who do the makeup hacks and the routine hacks, and I know that's what she's really known for. I think on TikTok she goes viral a lot for her unique perspective, and also her setup is really, it's a vibe. I think she does in her room or something like that, if I can remember. So that's really a good one. And this too is a very popular genre. So there are a lot of managers out here who compete for women and men like Monet. And so when you reach out to talent like this, you definitely need to make sure you have a great plan, a great incentive, because again, there are a lot of managers who are in this genre, and a lot of money to be made in this genre as well.
Well, thank you for allowing us to dive into the social media market. Um, and appreciate all of the insight that you've provided today. There is an opportunity for everyone on the call to reach out to Vanessa through uh, taking out your phone and taking a survey and evaluating today's presentation. If you'd like to get in touch with her, that would certainly be something we can help invite you to make that happen. Um, Also, are there any opportunities to work with you or for you in Digitoast management?
Yeah, yeah. So before I address that, I think Elijah asked me about Only for Apollo. So
Oh,
Only for Apollo, I would recommend him to like folks like Bizzler and that whole team over there. I see a lot of my folks at iHeart kind of follow him. So he might be on the rise to something, or Cousin Dre, folks on the radio. I would refer him to those folks. So, and there's a lot of open mics and stuff. I think Mr. Fab does an open mic every Thursday. So stuff like that, I would refer him to. But yes, I mean, I'm always open, and I have the availability to bring folks on. Feel free to email me at any time if you guys have any questions or you want to get into this industry. I'm always looking for folks to support me. I could, depending on what folks are wanting to do or how involved they want to get in this industry, I'm always down to bringing on interns. If that's something folks are interested in, I'm flexible. I can make any, type of position or anything available. Just depends on what people want to do.
okay. Well, thank you so much. On behalf of Q, a work site agreement. We'll talk. Yes. Raina wants to know if we could do a work site agreement with you and have we can pay someone to do the internship with you. So we do have that opportunity through Q. So without further ado, again, thank you so much on behalf of Q and all the participants. Thank you for your time. Everybody on the call, make sure you do the QR code so we can check that you were here and connect you to some resources, just some chats in the comments in the chat. Where's your company located? Thank you so much. Definitely open up my eyes to the importance of relevance of social media management.
We're,
Thank you. Thank you. Where's your
we're
company
between
located?
we're between Los Angeles and the Bay Area.
Okay. Okay, everyone. Thank you. And after you fill out the survey, you can uh, close out. Thank you so much. Thank you, Vanessa.
And
Stay
the
on if you
surveys,
can.
Where you from? What are your pictures? Do it on your phone.
we got the
Yeah,
survey on email, or that's the
No, that's it. Go to your
this
picture.
is the QR code, but we will also attach it to the presentation in an email.
Put it in. Where are your pictures? You
okay. You guys, thank you very much. And next Wednesday we'll see each other.
Thank you. See you next week, Joshua.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Trying to get to that last message. I don't see.
That was so dope. I knew they was gonna love that. Everybody wants to be an influencer.
I see a couple of people on this. Sharice, a participant.
Yeah.
Okay, let me let her out. And what about, okay, now it's just us. Okay, perfect. Oh, Vanessa got off. Darn it. Okay,
Oh, we can stop recording too.
yes, perfect.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was really cool. I think it was super important for them to see